Tunisian crochet is a crochet technique that creates a beautiful and dense fabric. It combines aspects of knitting with elements of crochet. I'm going to show you how to do Tunisian Simple Stitch and incorporate a Tunisian long front post double crochet to get this brick motif. Hi everyone, I'm Christina from Citybrightknits. Thanks for joining me today. Materials you'll need are a Tunisian crochet hook. Mine is a 5.5 millimeter from Boy aluminum hooks, as well as a pair of scissors for the color change and 2 alternating colored yarns. I'm using Friends Cotton 88, which is a medium weight cotton from Hobbii. I'll need to chain a multiple of 4 plus 1 for this motif. I'm starting with my base color, which is going to be green. Creating a slip knot, just like you would in traditional crochet, you're going to add the slip knot onto your Tunisian crochet hook. From here, you're simply going to chain 17 chains, just as you would in traditional crochet. Once you have your chain, you're going to pick up loops from your chain by simply inserting the head of the Tunisian crochet hook into the top ridge of the first loop. The first loop from the hook is going to be the first loop that you pick up. Yarn over and pull through. You now have 2 loops on your hook. Insert the hook head again, yarn over, and pull up a loop. You now have 3 loops on the hook. Simply work this method down the chain until you have all loops picked up on your hook. You should have 16 loops. This is called the Tunisian Simple Stitch. You will work a forward pass as well as a reverse pass when working Tunisian crochet. So putting these loops onto your hook is the forward pass element of this stitch. Next, we're going to work the return pass by pulling the working yarn through all of the loops that are on your hook. At the beginning, start by pulling the yarn through one of the loops. Always pull through one of the loops at the beginning of the return pass. Grab the yarn again and pull through 2 loops. This is similar to binding off in knitting. Grab the yarn and pull through 2 loops all the way until you have only 2 loops remaining on your hook. Once you come to the end and you have 2 loops remaining on your hook, we're going to change colors. This differs from Tunisian Simple Stitch because we're going to be working the brick stitch in various colors. I am adding a contrasting color red, and to do this, I'm going to create a slip knot and remove the hook completely to put on the second color. I'm putting on the second color just so that when it pulls through, it's going to be on the end versus after those 2 stitches. I'm re-putting on those 2 stitches onto my hook, so I have 3 loops of yarn. The working green yarn I'm going to pull to the back, and the red yarn is going to come forward. Grab the red yarn and pull through the first 2 green loops as well as pull through the red loop that's on your hook. You've pulled through all 3 loops, and what this does is completes the first row in that green color. You can see the stitch head is now completed in green. This red row is where we're going to add some texture to the brick stitch. To work the next forward pass, we're going to be using the red color to pull up loops in the same style that we did before. You can see that there are legs created on the front of this swatch so far, and I'm going to be pulling up through those legs. You can easily see this in the Tunisian crochet style. So you insert the hook into the front of the leg, grab the red working yarn and pull up a loop so that there's 2 loops on your hook. Repeat this method by putting the stitch into the next leg. Insert the hook, grab the working yarn, and pull up a loop. You now have 3 loops on your hook. In the next stitch, we're going to be working a double crochet. So yarn over, and you're going to insert the hook the same as you did before by putting the hook through, grabbing the yarn, and pulling up a loop. You're going to have pulled up 2 loops because this is a double crochet. Grab the yarn and pull through 1 loop, and grab the yarn again and pull through 2 loops, just as you would to complete a traditional double crochet. You now have 4 loops on your hook. You can see that doing this double crochet here has added some stitch height and texture to this 4th stitch. Continue in the simple style of pulling up loops for the next 3 stitches. After you have your 3 stitches, you are going to work another double crochet. So yarn over and insert your hook in the front leg to pull the yarn through to complete a double crochet. Continue working by pulling up 3 loops, and every 4th stitch you're going to work a double crochet. You're going to end with a double crochet into the last turning stitch of this round. Complete the next reverse pass by grabbing the red yarn and pulling through the first loop. You're going to grab the red yarn and pull through 2 loops after that. Grab the yarn and pull through 2 more loops until you get all the way to the end, just as before. Keep pulling through 2 loops until you have 2 loops remaining at the end, in which case you're going to change back to the green yarn, which is still attached. You're going to be working another row of Tunisian Simple Stitch by pulling up legs in the green color. Every other row you're going to be alternating between red and green. Remember that the green row for our purpose does not have any double crochet texture added to it, so you simply need to pull up loops onto your hook until you have 16 loops. Then you're going to complete a reverse pass by pulling through in the same green yarn color. Before we work the next round of red, I want to show you the goal here is to create this brick motif. So you can see on the first row of red where we added the double crochet, create these vertical lines. For the next row of red, we're going to basically be working in between those lines. So instead of doing 3 and then on the 4th stitch a double crochet, we're going to be working our double crochet sooner so that it alternates between this row. And then as we build, it'll repeat for every other round. The next forward pass of red, we're going to start right away by putting a long Tunisian front post double crochet into that row of red that we worked previously. The reason it's called a long post front double crochet is because we're going to be working down into the previous row of red. This just gives us some texture. The double crochet is worked the same way. For the front post double crochet, we're basically just going to be working a double crochet, but around both of those legs of the whole stitch post. So not just one of the legs, but 2. So yarn over, and we're going to be working behind the stitch of that red row. Once you've completed that double crochet, we're going to work the series again of picking up stitches in the simple Tunisian crochet style for 3 stitches before working another long post front double crochet. Continue working this pattern for the length of your swatch, and you should end, if you started with 16 stitches, you should end with 2 stitches on your hook at the end after the last front post double crochet. Begin your reverse pass by pulling through the red yarn just as before, and before you complete the row, remember to finish the last 2 loops with the green colored yarn. For the next row, you're going to work a solid row without any of the front post double crochet stitches for 16 stitches. You can see here I've done it in green. The following row after that, we're going to work the same as we did the first row to start getting this brick look effect. So let me show you one more row of the red color, pulling up the red yarn, which is still attached. I'm going to work the same as I did for the first row. So I need to have 3 loops picked up before I'm doing that front post double crochet. So you can see I have 3 here, and then I'm going to be working down into that previous row of red to pick up a post, and I'm going to complete a long double crochet in that front post. Okay, you can see how the brick motif is starting to line up here. Then I'm just going to continue picking up stitches for another 3 loops before working in the same way another long front post double crochet. So I'm going to follow this method all the way into the end. You should end with a front post double crochet in your final stitch before turning and completing your swatch. Well, friends, that's it. All you have to do is repeat another return pass, and that's brick stitch. That's Tunisian crochet brick stitch using 2 colors and a long post double crochet technique to extend the primary color. I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial and follow along for more.